What's good, beautiful people? This is your guy, Tone the Shields II from Chalk It Up Sports Philly, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. I want to share some thoughts with you guys. I know I haven't put any content up this past week. I've recently moved to a new place, so that really consumed my time and my life. So, when life throws you punches, you got to bob and weave. So I really appreciate you guys for staying committed to the content and also just staying committed to me as a content creator. First and foremost, I never take that for granted. But I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you guys about the Philadelphia Eagles as they stand right now at the midway part of the season. The Philadelphia Eagles are now 3-5 after defeating the Detroit Lions on the road 44-6. Now, it was a hard fought win. I'm not going to take anything away from those guys who made the ultimate sacrifice to go out there and play. It's a physical game and anything can happen. So I'm glad we got out of Detroit with the win. I'm also glad that Nick Sirianni actually found a running game. And that's something we've always been on top of them about. We've always said to ourselves, why aren't we running the ball? We have a potent running attack if we use it. We have a plethora of running backs who are just chomping at the bits just to touch the rock. You got a guy like Miles Sanders who's now currently on IR, which is ironic because just when we started to begin to run the ball, he gets hurt in that Oakland Raiders game that we lost, mainly because we got away from the run. But I digress. We have a plethora of running backs who are talented enough when used in combination with the other to have a potent running attack. And we saw that against the Detroit Lions. Boston Scott, Jordan Howard, Kenny Gainwell. That was a really interesting combination. More specifically, Jordan Howard and Boston Scott. Now, Boston Scott is not a top tier running back, and Jordan Howard is no longer the running back that he was with the Chicago Bears. But you can make an argument for Jordan Howard that he hasn't really gotten the opportunities to really have a significant role on a team because his style of running back is starting to become prehistoric in this NFL. And most teams don't really have that three down bell cow back anymore, unless you're referring to the Tennessee Titans, and they just lost their guy Derrick Henry to a season-ending injury, most likely. But the Philadelphia Eagles finally decided to run the ball and commit to it this past Sunday against the Detroit Lions. And they ultimately decided to take the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands. Now, I'm a firm believer that the running game opens up the passing game. But this Philadelphia Eagles team barely passed the ball against the Detroit Lions. As a matter of fact, to be quite specific, Jalen Hurts actually went 9 for 14 on 103 yards passing with a 64% completion percentage, averaging 7 yards per throw. And his longest completion of the day was 19 yards. He didn't get sacked at all. And he ran 7 times for 71 yards, averaging 10 yards a run. The longest run of the day was 21 yards. So his rushing ability was the more notable out of what he did for us in that game. But I think he made the passes that needed to be made at the time. But Jalen Hurts has not really been that impressive through the first 8 games, if we're being completely objective and honest. I want to make things clear. I'm a Jalen Hurts fan. I like Jalen Hurts a lot. I think he's a great leader, a great young man. He's somebody that the team wants to get behind. He's a hard guy. He's not hard to root for. But we can't pretend that Jalen Hurts has made all the throws that we expected him to be able to make. We also can't kid ourselves and say this kid is as experienced as he needs to be in the league. But you can tell pretty early in a guy's career if he can make certain throws or not. Sure, there is a learning curve and there's development in certain areas, but Jalen Hurts right now has not really shown that he can consistently make the throws. He can consistently put the ball where it needs to be for his guys to make a play. Now, also, I don't believe Nick Sirianni has really done the best job of putting him in the best situations to succeed. I think it's a combination of both of those radioactive chemicals. The fact that Jalen Hurts has not really shown us what we thought he could be at this point in the season, and also Nick Sirianni not really being the play caller that we expected him to be. Also, to have a young quarterback going out there devoid of a running game is absolutely criminal. So I put that extremely on Nick Sirianni. But Jalen Hurts, when he has the opportunities, he has to make the easy throws. He has to show that he can process the field. And there are times where he's just missing guys, and that can't happen. It just can't happen. It's so much food that was left on the table in so many different circumstances. But again, there's so many nuanced things wrong with this team. The defense showed up against Detroit, but overall, the defense has been up and down all season. We haven't had one level of consistency when it comes to this team. Let's be honest with ourselves. Do you honestly believe this Philadelphia Eagles team has shown you any semblance of an identity? Have they shown you that they're improving as an organization, as a coaching staff, as a roster? Can you honestly say to yourself that they have improved? I don't think so, because we're not getting a consistent product every week. When you watch teams like the Ravens, you know what you're going to get. When you watch teams like the Buccaneers, you know what you're going to get. You know they know what their identity is. When you watch teams like the Dallas Cowboys, they know what their identity is. They know what they want to do each and every game to you. Now, of course, each and every game has a different game plan. You're always going to cater a game plan to who you're playing. You want to always try to exploit your opponent's weaknesses. But at most teams' core, they have an identity that they want to stick to. They have a plan that they want to stick to. And the best of teams adapt as seasons develop. And the Philadelphia Eagles, Nick Sirianni specifically, waited to week 8 to really implement his running game. Now, I will give him some credit. He tried it last week, but he deviated so quickly once Miles Sanders got hurt. And I think that showed a sign of desperation, a sign of desperation, because just be, you can't just abandon the running game because your starting guy goes out. You wasn't giving him the ball anyway, so it makes no difference. You got to keep feeding that rock to the running backs. You got to trust your running backs. So with Miles Sanders being on IR for the next 3 weeks or so, I expect Jordan Howard to get a lot of snaps. I expect Boston Scott to get a lot of snaps. I expect Kenny Gainwell to be used as well. But I'm really curious to see how Jalen Hurts develops from this point forward, because if we're going to become a running team, what does that say about Jalen Hurts as a quarterback? Do we not trust him with the ball in his hands in key situations? Do we not believe that he can make the throws? Do we not believe that he can be the guy? And if he's not the guy, that's okay. He can be a bridge quarterback for us to get the guy we need who can make the throws. And this is no slight to Jalen Hurts. I'm a Jalen Hurts fan, but I believe in that kid. But so far, I'm just going off the evidence. He has struggled this season. And it hasn't entirely been his fault, but he has struggled. And we have to acknowledge that. In this season, this road ahead, This is the time for the Eagles to turn it around. We have the Chargers in Week 9 at home, which is going to be a tough game because they have a star quarterback who is only getting better, but they have shown signs of being human. They have the worst rushing defense in the NFL, one of the worst. So the Eagles need to take advantage of that. We have the Broncos who are showing signs of weakness as well. They just traded Von Miller. We also have the Saints at home. They just lost Jameis Winston for the rest of the season. Do we really trust Taysom Hill to really take over? Jalen Hurts, last time he played those guys, got a win. So I'm expecting him to do the same thing. Then we got the Giants and the Jets on the road, Week 12 and Week 13, respectively. Then we got our bye in Week 14. Then we go home, face Washington. Then we face the Giants in Weeks 15 and 16, respectively. Then we go on the road in Week 17 to face the Washington football team. And then we have the Cowboys at home on our home turf. So this schedule, as it remains to be seen, is the right time, the perfect cocktail for the Eagles to get things back on track, to at least say that this season wasn't entirely a wash, that you can find something to hang your hat on this season. And that's all I have. I'm your humble host, Tone the Shills II. You guys are locked in on your dose, so chalk it up. Where no matter if we win or we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. One love, stay humble, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay hungry. And fly, Eagles fly.